Hi, my name is Chef Peggy Cruz. I am the chef and owner of Firo Catering and Events. A little bit about myself. I grew up on the West Side. My mother was a caterer, so she cooked her whole life. She taught me all her cuisine. I then cleaned it up and made it vegan, vegetarian friendly. So what I specialize in is vegan, vegetarian Puerto Rican cuisine with so. And today I'm going to be showing you a quick and easy appetizer. It's a Puerto Rican favorite. We use plantains and make some like plantain chips. And then making a really easy garlic oil salsa to top it off, and that could be vegan. And then I'm going to be making some cilantro honey shrimp to top that off in case you wanted to add something on top of that plantain. So I'm going to start with a plantain. I'm going to be cutting that up into maybe 1/2-inch pieces, or 1 inch if you want them bigger. If you want a bigger chip, you want to make the cut on a bias bigger. But if you want a smaller chip, then you can cut it 1/2 inch thick. So we just slice it down the middle here to get the skin off of the plantain. It takes some getting used to, so you might want to slice it with a knife and then use a butter knife to do this part. But if you're totally comfortable with a knife, you could go ahead and do it the way I'm doing it here with the knife. So we'll just do it like that, peel it off. Should come off fairly easy. So now I'm gonna cut this plantain on a bias. I want my chips to be a little bigger because I'm gonna add some shrimp to it, so I want them to be a little bigger. But if you're doing it for a party and it's a lot of people, you want to slice them a little smaller. So I'm doing an inch, or maybe even sometimes 1.5 inches. And that's how they should look. I'm gonna start the fire here. That's how they should look if you want them a bigger cut. If you want something smaller, then it'll be like that, the chips. So to hold them, what I use is a bowl of cold water with some salt in it. You could cut these and prep them before, have them in your refrigerator so that you could use them later. They stay in the refrigerator good with the salt water for about a day or two. You can bring them out and then use them after. I like soaking them in the salt because it'll give the plantain a salty flavor without you having to add salt in the end. So that's why I like soaking them. So I'm gonna be frying those off, but I'm waiting for the oil to warm a little. So while I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and start on my olive oil salsa. So I got fresh garlic here from the West Side Market. All the ingredients I got are from the West Side Market. So I have the shrimp that I just used. Those are from the West Side Market as well. Cut the top off of that. And I'm gonna just use a couple of cloves for this. It just depends on how much you're gonna make. Right now, I'm probably gonna make about a cup of the olive oil salsa. So 2 to 3 cloves. These cloves seem to be a little bigger. So 2 to 3 cloves of garlic is perfect. Smash that garlic, it's so fresh. So I smashed the garlic and now I'm just gonna cut it. I'm gonna mince it. So I want it to be pretty small, almost like a puree, because it's an appetizer and it'll be fresh. So we wanna make sure that your guest or your family is not crunching into something very big. Now, if you're gonna use the garlic to cook, by all means, you wanna leave it a little bigger and get that full flavor of the garlic. So I'm gonna grab this. I got a bowl, which I need. I'm gonna put the garlic into a little bowl and just hold it on the side. And then everything that I'm cutting up, we're going to mix into the olive oil salsa. I'm gonna take some fresh cilantro, ball that up, and chiffonade. So anytime you get some herbs, you want to ball them up, fold them up very, very fine, ball them up, and then slice them down. That cut is called chiffonade. And that'll get you some nice, beautiful, cut up herbs. They'll be uniform. That cilantro smells amazing. You could just tell how fresh it is coming from the West Side Market. It's amazing. So we have the cilantro, we have the garlic. This also is going to take tomatoes and red onions. But my oil seems to be warm, so I'm going to go ahead and put some plantains in there. And when you do, remember that this is in water, so you don't want to just throw it in. You want to place them in so that you don't burn yourself, right? But if you're like me, I'm used to getting burned by oil, hot water. So for me, it's fine. But please be careful putting them in because of this, not only the water, but the salt. So it'll make the oil sizzle up really nice. So I have that like on a medium heat because we're gonna fry these twice. You wanna make sure you don't have your heat up too high because you don't want them to brown so much because there's another frying process. So we're gonna cook these midway. We're gonna flip them over, cook them midway, and then we're gonna take them out, flatten them, and then we're gonna fry them again. So they're fried twice plantains. So while that's cooking, I'm gonna go ahead and cut up some of my tomato. Now the tomato, this is a beautiful tomato. Wow, look how beautiful that is. You could just eat that alone. Throw a little salt and pepper on it, or just some pepper. Amazing. So the tomato is, like I said, this recipe, you could customize it. You can make the tomatoes nice and big and chunky. You can make the onions and garlic nice and big and chunky. It's totally up to you and to the guest that you're serving, right? So again, it was about a quarter of a bunch of cilantro, a half of a whole tomato, and about 2 garlic cloves. And I only use 2 garlic cloves because they're big. If they were smaller, I would probably use 4 to 5. Okay, so the plantains are frying pretty good. They're getting nice and golden, and that's what you want. You don't want to see like burn marks. You want to be nice and golden. And remember, we're gonna par fry these. We're gonna fry them halfway, just until they're smashable. Because you'll know if they're smashable, because if you try to smash one, take it out now and smash it, it'll be too hard. You're not gonna be able to smash it down. So when they get smashable, about 5 minutes of frying, I wanna say, flipping halfway. They should be ready in about a couple minutes to flatten those out. So I'm gonna continue with the olive oil salsa. And I'm gonna add that cilantro to the bowl, the tomatoes. And then we have that 2 cloves of garlic. I'm gonna put that in there. Garlic. And then to cool all of this off, we're gonna go with the cool cucumber that I got at the West Side Market as well. The cucumber I like in this recipe, usually Puerto Ricanos or in Puerto Rico, they do just a cilantro, oil, garlic, or just the garlic, oil, a little bit of salt and pepper, or sometimes you'll see it with the tomato. I like to add a cool cucumber, just because all the ingredients in there are so acidic. I want to cool it down just a little bit. So I'm going to take a cool cucumber, like I said, and I'm going to, for this recipe, I'm going to peel it. Because we want that crunch to be, we don't want it to be too crunchy. We want it to be a little soft, because we want the cucumber to cool it down. Not that it's spicy, but it's packed with acid. So we want to bring some of that down. So I'm just dicing up these cucumbers. Oopsie. And to just, it doesn't have to be uniform. Just you want to cut them down a little smaller than the tomato. Because again, this is going on top of a chip, you want to make sure that it stays on the chip and doesn't fall off. All right, so I'm adding the cucumber here. Okay. So the salsa is almost ready. The olive oil garlic salsa is almost ready. I'm gonna go ahead back to the plantains, and we're going to start making our chips, flatten them out and start making our chips. For the plantains, you can use a plantain flattener. They sell them, you can find them in the traditional or the international aisle of the supermarkets. Kind of looks like this, but it stays together. This is what I use because I like to control how I can pull it apart. But the traditional way that I grew up using for my plantains is just a brown paper bag. So this is what my mom used, so this is what I always use. It's how I make my best plantains. So today I'm gonna use the paper bag, but you can by all means, you can use the plantain smasher, or you can just grab a can out of your cabinet, bring it out, rinse it, put some oil on the bottom of it, and use that to smash your plantains. But today, I'm going old school and I'm gonna use what my mother taught me how to use, a brown paper bag. So you just take the plantain, make sure it has a little oil on there, put it in there, smash it down, just like so, and it becomes a chip. See that? And then you just add it right back into that oil. Now once you add it back into that oil, you want to watch it. They're not going to fry as long. It's just going to take like a minute or so to fry. Flipping them once, of course. You want them to be nice and crispy on both sides. So that's a perfect chip right there. That chip is perfect. It's crunchy. It's flat. I like mine's mid, so I do it midway, but you can make them flatter, you can make them thicker as you like. But these, since I pre-soak these for about 20-30 minutes, they should be okay, so I don't have to put salt on them, especially since I'm going to be adding a salsa to it and a protein. Most of the time we eat these by themselves with our dinner or just as a snack, so we'll go ahead and throw some salt and pepper on them. But like I said again, if you soak them in the salt and you're putting something on top of them, you probably want to stay away from hitting it with salt as soon as it comes out of the oil. If you're just going to have it as an appetizer and eat them just like that, as a snack and eat them just like that, then you can go ahead and throw some salt and pepper on them right as soon as they get out of the oil. So there are my plantains. And that was one plantain. That one plantain makes about 6 or 7. The one whole plantain makes about 6 or 7 tostones. So I'm going to turn that off. And then we're going to finish our salsa and then start on the cilantro honey shrimp. So to this, all we have to add now, because we have in there the garlic, we have the tomatoes, and we have the cool cucumbers. So I'm going to add some great olive oil that we got again at the Westside Market. So Westside Market is a one-stop shop. You can get everything you need for your beautiful meal. So I'm gonna mix that up. Look at that. That looks great and it smells so good. The one thing I do want to say, you do need some citrus, even though this is all acidic in here. There's a lot of acid in here already. We do want to add some lemon juice or lime juice to cut. If you don't want to use lemon or lime, you can definitely use vinegar, any vinegar of your choice. So I'm just squeezing some lime in here. And to that, I'm going to add just a little bit of salt and pepper. And that's just a pinch, but you can, well, not pepper, I'm using some cayenne pepper, but you can use black pepper if you like. Just a pinch. I'm gonna also do a pinch of onion powder. And mix that up. That smells so good. Wow. So that's our salsa. That's our olive oil garlic salsa. It has tomatoes, it has the garlic, it has the cucumber, and olive oil and a little bit of seasoning and some citrus up in there. All right, so here I have some shrimp that I got also at the Westside Market, some beautiful shrimp. I cleaned them already. I'm gonna show you how I like to do them. My shrimp, I always like to butterfly them, especially if I'm sauteing them or if I'm frying them. Basically, whenever I use them, I do butterfly my shrimp, just because it looks better and it's a better feel in your mouth of a bite. So I'm splitting that right there, right at the end, just butterflying that. I got my pan heating up because this should be hot. This is gonna cook fairly quickly. Let's butterfly those shrimp really quickly. This is amazing. These shrimp they're juicy. You could tell that they're meaty. Sometimes you'll buy some shrimps, depending where you buy them from. So you do want to go to the Westside Market if possible. You'll find shrimp, and they're not meaty at all. They're really like they were on a diet. So, but these are meaty. These are going to be a mouthful. They're going to be great. So I'm just butterflying them again like that. So to the pan, I'm going to add some olive oil, because we're gonna saute these. It's that same olive oil. You're gonna go ahead and add a little just to coat the bottom of the pan. Let that get warm. And then what I like to do is I like to take my shrimp, the butterfly shrimp, and I like to put it right down on that, just like that. Just so that I am creating the the look of it. When I put that shrimp down on the appetizer, I want it to look beautiful on top. So, like I said, you know the shrimp is going to cook very fast. You don't want to overcook the shrimp. You don't want some chewy shrimp. You want it to be nice and with a burst of flavor and moisture when you bite into it. So there, I just got that going just like that. Really quickly. I'm gonna add some garlic powder, just a pinch. Onion powder. Just a pinch of salt. Okay, that onion. And a little bit of cayenne. I'm gonna cut up some of this onion because I'm gonna add it to the salsa now that I am going to add the shrimp. I think it just gives it a nice burst of flavor and a contrast to everything else that's in there. So I'm gonna dice up some of this red onion to add to the salsa before I plate another one with the shrimp. Gonna give that a dice. Want it to be kind of small, a little smaller than the tomatoes and the cucumber. That shrimp is smelling really, really good, and it's ready to be turned over. I'll be turning that over in just a second. I'm adding this to the salsa. All right. Shrimp is looking pretty good. Turn those over just a little bit. All right, so now to this I'm gonna add some cilantro. Just chop it up, add some cilantro, and then I'm gonna add that amazing butter that we got also from the West Side Market. The cilantro, you want to make sure, I'm turning that a little, you want to put that at the very end because it's really aromatic and it's really a finishing touch, so like kind of like a garnish. So you want to add that in the end. So the shrimp is almost done. I started cooking it with oil because oil cooks at a higher temperature. I didn't want my butter to burn. So you put the butter in the end because the butter is where all the flavor is really coming from. So you want to be careful. This, I have salted butter, but if you're heavy on the salt or seasoning in your household, you want to buy some unsalted butter so you can control the butter, the salt intake in your dish. So I'm just going to add this butter. This is about a tablespoon and a half. And I got about 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 shrimp in there. You can see how that is just coming along. It looks so good. So the only 2 things that are missing now on this dish, on the shrimp, is the cilantro, which I'm gonna put in the very end, and some honey. I'm gonna put this great, beautiful beaded honey. This honey is amazing. You can still feel and see like the grit, and I call them pearls of gold in there because it's so raw and it's so good. And I chose to use this one because of the grit, because I'm going to cook it down a little bit and it's just going to melt into that butter and it's going to be so amazing. So you're going to get the sweetness from the shrimp, the cilantro, so you're going to get a nice pungent flavor from the cilantro. The butter is creamy and the honey is gritty, sweet, and good. And then on top of the chip with all of those flavors, it's just going to be a blend and just a festival in your mouth. So right now I'm going to just make sure the shrimp is doing well, which it is. Absolutely. That over. Remember, you don't want to overcook your shrimp. You want these shrimps to be perfect. Don't want them to be chewy. And those are almost done. So right now I'm gonna add the cilantro, as much as or as little as you like. And this recipe, you can definitely make it your own way. You can add garlic to this right now if you like. If you're a really big garlic fan, you can just add some garlic into that butter and oil that's cooking there right now. And that would just be amazing. I'm gonna pour this honey into here just so you can see how beautiful it is. And I'm probably putting maybe a teaspoon into that. It is so good and gooey. Whoa, that is great. Oh my gosh, I love that. It's like Christmas in here. But yes, the smell is to die for. I just can't even explain how this smells right now. It's just so good. Smell-o-vision is coming soon, I promise. Little of the salsa. This one I won't stack up so high just because we're going to be adding that beautiful shrimp right on top. And make sure we get some of that sauce. And just right on top. And that's your plantain shrimp appetizer with a olive oil, garlic, salsa that has tomato, cucumber, cilantro, garlic. Everything that you go want in one bite is in this appetizer. Thank you.